Today I've got another one of those ingredients that rarely gets any airtime on cocktail menus, but I think once you give it a go, you'll absolutely fall in love. So today in this video, I've got 5 cocktails, all made with rum, but also this ingredient to hopefully give you some inspiration so you can go away and create some cocktails for yourselves. So for cocktail number 1, look, most of my cocktails never have names. I just love riffing up kind of styles of cocktails. So I'm going to serve this up Caipirinha style. You can maybe even call this a sort of daiquiri style, but it's going to combine this ingredient with elderflower and white unaged rum. I think that's a great way to go for this. Dropworks proudly to support UK rum here. Their clear drop works really well with like an elderflower flavour. So that's where the inspiration came for this. 45ml, 1.5 ounces of your favourite rum of choice. As mentioned, I'm going to complement that with some Saint-Germain, some elderflower liqueur. It's great stuff. Bartender ketchup, we used to call it back in the day. 15ml, half an ounce of that. Then want some lime juice. Look, if you're gonna, you could do this Caipirinha style and get 3/4 of a lime, chop it in mud cubic, muddle it down. You know, that'd be fantastic. But I'm all about like easy, faff-free. Let's make really good cocktails really quickly. So I've always got bottles of lime juice like this around. So for this, look, my sweet spot here is 30ml, but kind of do you have a little play. 22.5ml might work, 15ml might work, but I do prefer like 30ml in these style of cocktails. And then the ingredient that I'm talking about, yes, today we are focusing on watermelon, Real's watermelon. Will this work for, I was going to say, other watermelon purees? I don't think there are any on the market. This stuff probably got a monopoly. Like, I do know, I think Monin might have a watermelon syrup. I don't know. But this stuff, typically, I do say these are purees, but you know, some fruits you can't really make a puree out of. So this is actually watermelon inside juiced. I think you'd call it a juice more than you would a puree, but it's like 49% watermelon in there. Amazing tequila cocktails, rum cocktails, like watermelon margaritas and all that. We're going to dive into all these sort of cocktails or riffs, but these are rum. But 20ml is about my sweet spot. So a little squeeze like that. And then I said serve it up Caipirinha style. So I've got a rocks double old-fashioned glass here with crushed ice. Just going to strain that over the top and then just crown with more crushed ice. Oh, wow. Watermelon, elderflower. There isn't, obviously, because it's an unaged rum, you don't have bags of like flavour coming off there, but you get the rummy notes. I adore unaged rum. It's a very different thing to sort of aged like barrel notes. That is light. That is beautiful. That is crisp. Oh, that's a proper banger. That is. I tell you what, that would also make a really good base for a Spritz. Add like Prosecco or a Collins. Add some soda water or something like that. Oh, that's proper. Right, in recipe 2, I'm going to be using a herb that I don't often use, but it's a staple with a lot of cooking. So many people would have it lying around, but we'll get to that in a second. Kind of a mule we're going for here. So rum at the bottom of this. I've gone for an aged rum this time because I do prefer those sort of notes, especially so this is ginger ale coming out in here. Look, if I'm doing these sort of drinks, I typically don't make them that strong. 30ml is cool for me, but if you want to up it 45, 60, do you. There's no right or wrong here. All right, so I've gone 30ml. And I'm not shaking this because, as I say, the watermelon is less of a puree in this instance and more of like a thinner juice. It's more runnier. So actually, you can get away with a quick zhuzh in a glass. You don't need to shake, whereas a lot of these are thicker because they are purees in there. So you kind of need a little bit more sort of shaking to kind of mix the flavours in a little bit. But lime juice, 15ml, half an ounce of lime juice. Now I'm going for my Real watermelon. Remember, always open them upside down and store them upside down as well. I only have them these way up for videos. Normally they're like that, just in case they decide to leak out there. But store them the other way, and then we're just going to do that little 20ml, 15, 20ml sort of squeeze. Then the herb is basil. Basil and, well, God, this bag smells amazing. Basil and, what the size of these flipping things? Basil and watermelon and ginger works really well. My recipe says 6 leaves. I think I can probably get away with 4. Look at the size of those buggers. Right, look at them. Whoppers. Right, so I'm just going, let me just get rid of the stalky bits there. I will kind of do what I do normally with sort of mint. Just give them a little, just to break the cells down, and that'll just help the aromas come out there. But of course, you can just gently press with a flat end of a bar spoon like that. Just gently press those basil leaves down into the mix. This is where you're going to top up with ice, and I've gone all poshlet and I've got ice spears. Look at that now. Perfect. And then just your ginger ale of choice. Ginger beer would even work in here if you want to. I just want something a little bit lighter, so I'm going for ginger ale. Oh, wow, that basil note and what? Wow. That's really good. I mean, you're fighting the straw because you're picking up the basil in the bottom of the straw. That is delicious. I like that aged rum note. It just works so well with the basil, with the watermelon. Remember, you know, I keep saying this, and every time I do a video with Real, they're not that sweet. People think these are really, really sweet, and they're not. You know, got 49% of that is watermelon juice, then the rest of it is sugar. That's completely different to a sugar syrup. If you had a watermelon syrup, where you might have like 15% watermelon and 85% sugar. So they're nowhere near as sweet. So that 20 ml just gives you loads of flavour without making the drink that sweet. That is beautiful. Now for your third recipe, I am really excited to show you this. I've put in my notes, twisted cosmopolitan. As I say, look, my cocktails don't have names. I take famous cocktails, use them as the base, riff them up to give you ideas and inspiration. That's what I do. So I think I can loosely say the only real, like, you know, the only sort of nod to the cosmopolitan in this is lime and cranberry juice, and it's served up in a martini glass. That's really it. But there is no rum and cranberry juice with lime sort of cocktail that I know of. So feel free to take these cocktails. If you're going to make them yourselves, rename them. Absolutely fine. But the aged rum, I do think aged rum, I've tried this with the light unaged rum, but I do prefer my sort of aged rum in this. So again, your like Havana Especials, your Mount Gay Eclipses, your Appleton Signatures, those sort of styles of rum. 45 ml, 1.5 ounces. Then I want some coconut liqueur. This is just what I've got at this precise moment. Absolutely delicious. Téchené. We all know it from round Europe and all those holiday resorts. Téchené's been around, it's a Spanish brand, been around donkey's years. 15 ml, half an ounce. Coconut, your favourite coconut liqueur. Now, this is the one time in this video, I think, where we're actually using less of this stuff. I just want a 10 ml drizzle this time of watermelon, not too much more. My lime juice, 20 ml. Then the final ingredient was cranberry juice. Look, my notes do say cranberry and raspberry juice. I have got some. It's not opened. And then I thought to myself, look, what is the more mass market here? Do we need another flavour, raspberry, going in there when we've got a rum, when we've got a coconut, when we've got a watermelon? No, not really. Cranberry, raspberry, I prefer it to normal cranberry juice, but I think the cranberry works super well with watermelon. I know that for a fact, because I've done watermelon Cosmos anyway. So that's where the inspiration come. I'm going 45 ml here, but if you want to up the cranberry slightly to 60, you go for your life. After a good hard shake, just double strain it into your favourite martini or coupe glass. So the question I asked myself is, how far actually is that away from a Cosmopolitan or a watermelon Cosmo? And it's not, because arguably if you're using plain vodka, you've just got a booze kick and no other flavour. So we've essentially got the booze kick with a rum flavour coming through there. We have got the coconut, but not that much. And we've only got a subtle hint of the watermelon coming through there. So essentially, we've just put this more tropical vibe on a Cosmo. Will that work with vodka? Yeah, of course it will. Will it work with tequila? Of course it will. All these cocktails are so similar. That's why, you know, you can never invent new cocktails. You just riff well, you can invent new cocktails, but you end up just riffing off old classics that have been up there. That's delicious. And the garnish, just in case you're interested, just hibiscus. I didn't know what else to put on there, so I put a couple of hibiscus flowers because they work well on there. But that is beautiful. I'm just thinking if we could take that into tiki world, maybe like some ginger in there. I'm not sure about bitters, but some sort of like light spice in there. And you've almost got this really good tiki drink, and you could serve it up like that. Of course you could, but like over crushed ice in there, that is really, really good. Now for your fourth recipe, we are back to the highballs again. This one's going to be spiced rum this time, and the inspiration I'm using for this is the Paloma. Now, it's a tequila cocktail. Tequila and watermelon works so well. Okay, like margarita, watermelon margaritas are fantastic. Watermelon Palomas are fantastic. But as this is a rum video, I'm going to showcase that rum and grapefruit soda and watermelon also works really well. But this has also got another little tropical twist to it. So as the previous highball 2 cocktails go, do your measurement of choice. I'm 30 ml, go 45, go 60. It's completely up to you. But this is Dropworks Spice Drop. Really clever, not the time and place to talk about this, but really clever spiced rum that doesn't actually have any spices in it. So I'm then going to complement that with some banana liqueur from Tempus Fugit. Gorgeous, unctuous, lovely banana notes. 15 ml, half an ounce. Lime juice this time, I want about 20 ml. But again, this will balance with the amount of booze you've used and the amount of sweetness you're going to use. So always adjust the taste. Now I'm going to do a 20 ml squeeze of my watermelon puree syrup. Quick zhuzh up. I'm going to ice up with my really posh and fancy semi-clear ice spear. Yeah, it's a bit too big for the glass, but hey ho. Never let a good ice cube get in the way of a decent glass. That's my motto. Don't know where I've heard that before, but it just sounded good. And then grapefruit soda of choice. Again, in the UK, super easy to get. Every single supermarket will have at least 1, if not 2 brands of grapefruit soda. So we're just going to top up. Oh, wow. Wow. Get a lovely note of that spiced rum, actually. Subtle spices in there, but the watermelon and the grapefruit obviously works super well. You've got that lovely sort of fun element of banana. Again, not too sweet. That is delicious. Banana and grapefruit, banana watermelon, lovely nut. Oh, that's a beautiful highball. Would you call it Paloma? I don't know. Call it something different. It's great inspiration though. It's delicious. Then the 5th and final recipe. This is going to be like a spritz. I'm going for a blood orange and watermelon spritz. But there's going to be a couple of ingredients here that I've just sort of showcased them, not as in a paid promotion, just to give you some sort of idea if you've never kind of seen them before. And I figured like it's only the hardcore people that are still watching to the end of this video, so I might as well do it at the end in the final cocktail. So first off, look, is the Aperol going to work in here? Yes, of course it is. I've mentioned previously that I've done a bit of work with, or like used Tempus Fugit quite a lot. And the US Tempus Fugit people sort of reached out and was like, we love your stuff. Can we send you, like, get in contact, send you some bits? So they've done that via the UK distributors, which is Berry Brothers and Rudd. And Berry Brothers and Rudd topped me up with more banana, more cacao, but actually sent me this, the Grand Classico. Never tried it. Now, this is the same filming session as a Jungle Bird video. I don't know how they're going to drop and which way, whether this will come out before a Jungle Bird. But I did a little tasting in the Jungle Bird and I was completely blown away. It's a bitter, but it's very different to Campari. I can't really describe it. I've read the ingredients on the back of it. It's kind of got like all your typical like wormwood, gentian and all that, but it's got this rhubarby note. Before I'd read that, I instantly said, oh, it's a little bit more fruity, but I couldn't pick the fruit. I also don't know how else to describe it. In typical Tempus Fugit sort of fashion, I don't know what the word is, but they are more thicker, more robust, more unctuous liqueurs. Don't mean to say they're sweeter, they're just thicker. And I think, even though this isn't thicker, this is more like a more robust, easygoing, fruitier, tastier version of Campari.
And I think it's absolutely really delicious. I'll be honest, I haven't seen the price. I haven't even looked at the price. So I'll probably have a look now in editing while I'm doing this. I'm expecting it to be quite a bit more expensive than Campari. But the point being here is that don't just take Campari as the be all and end all when it comes to bitters, because even my Luxardo Rosso and Luxardo Bianco that I absolutely adore are 10 times better than Campari. I've got Volts, and it's obviously not going to be the front one, is it? I don't know where it is, but just for ease, I've got Volt, local guys, Saffron Walden. They create a bitter which is just absolutely incredible. But price point, because they are little, you are talking probably double the price of Campari here. So this is the Gran Classico, just purely for inspiration and to say that not all Aperols, Camparis and all that taste the same. So experiment. This is so good. I'm going 30 ml, 1 ounce of this Gran Classico. All right. The other thing I want to do, I haven't thought of, is because I've got a bottle here. I thought I had a bottle of Campari. Is compare the ABVs. This is, I've got a feeling, a little bit stronger than Campari. It's 28%. But having not seen a bottle of Campari for ages, I can't remember how strong that is. But honestly, this is delicious. The next, I might as well come on to this ingredient as I'm sort of giving shout outs, and that's super sour. This is no stranger to my channel. There we go. Is that right? That looks a bit funny. Where's the front? There we go. That should be the front. Right. This is no stranger to my channel. I used it years ago. However, it never really took off. But now, recently, especially at tail end of 2025, 26, I've started to see a lot of bars use this now. This is distilled citrus. Therefore, it means it's long life, shelf stable, can sit on the back of the bars. And my sort of thing for this is, am I ever going to use this as a daiquiri, as a lime juice replacement in daiquiris, margaritas, mojitos? What? Let's just stick to daiquiris and margaritas. No. Like, I always want that lime juice. But if you are making highballs or tiki cocktails or ingredients with lots of other flavors, this just comes into its own. You might think it's more expensive. It's not, because you'd use typically half the amount. All right, so you're not using a 30 ml measure of lime juice. You're perhaps using a 10 ml measure of this. So it's a great addition to have to your bars. Super easy to get. Most wholesalers here in the UK carry it. It is a Belgium product. I forget where it comes from. It's not UK, but it comes from somewhere like in Europe. So pretty easy to get for us. I'm not sure about the US, but they're doing some fantastic work now. And as I say, a lot of bars are actually using this and having it behind their bar on their cocktail menu. So for me in this, I'm just going for 7.5 ml, and that'll just complement the other flavors that are coming up, like the watermelon, and we've got the bitter that's going in there, but obviously the blood orange that's coming as well. So talking about the watermelon, here we go. Let's just do our standard 20 ml squeeze. Gonna grab my Fever Tree blood orange. Again, easy to get here in the UK. All your wholesalers of your pubs and bars carry this. All the supermarkets have got the 500 ml bottles of this. Easy peasy. I'm going to do a 50-50 split of Prosecco to blood orange. Give it a gentle little stir just to combine that watermelon in and the other ingredients. And then I'm going to top up with my Prosecco that's nice and fresh. I've just literally opened this for this video. Oh, still got fizz. It's about 2 weeks old. I don't know how fizzy this is going to be. Oh, it's not too bad. Oh, hello. There we go. Screw top Prosecco. Who knew? There we go. Oh, that's so good. Honestly, I swear that this stuff, it just gives... I'd love to know all the other ingredients in there, because I'm not overly convinced it's a rhubarb top note that I'm getting. But it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gives you a fruity bitterness. Oh, that's delicious. The blood orange works. The watermelon works. Oh, honestly, that's a really good spritz. Now, obviously, there's no rum in that, is there? But I thought I could get away with it for cocktail number 5, because it is only the hardcore people in here. But the point I wanted to get here, I think that deserves a mention, watermelon, in a watermelon video. I do.